You're probably wondering what I'm doing right now. I'm outside grounding. This is what I do for my community here. And I will send you the link on understanding what grounding is below this video. But basically, I just provide a sacred space that allows us to reconnect with the earth, reconnect with the environment, reconnect with all that is us and what we're made of, so we can kind of give back to our bodies. I mean, like, we're always on the go all the time. We never stop to just relax and remember and reminisce on our childhood, that inner child inside of us that needs to be heard, that needs to be revisited. Like, we get so caught up in adult stuff all the time that we forget to connect with that child, and sometimes that child needs to be heard. So what I do is I offer a space for that, and the name of my site is called Down to Earth, with the number 2 in the middle. Down to Earth Grounding. So right now, I just want you to understand something. Everything that happens for a reason. There is no such thing as coincidence. There's no such thing as not paying the consequences for any action, any thought, because those things, even though they may not be physical, like your thoughts you may not be able to see them when you have them, but they do become real eventually. And your thoughts create who you are. As a man thinketh, so is he. A lot of these ancient sayings that go back, they mean something. And honestly, guys, this is what I realized. That's how our ancestors pass information to us without physically being present here. They leave us with sayings, they leave us with traditions, and things that when we get older, we start to ponder on and understand, and we're like, okay, I get it. I get what this means now. So that is the most brilliant thing I could ever have come into realization of. As a people, when someone leaves you a saying that will help you when you get older in life and help you get through the tough times, that's love. That's love at its core. So go back and listen to the things. Try to remember the things your grandmother or your great-grandmother or your great-grandfather said to you. Try to remember the sayings. Try to tap in to understand what they were really trying to tell you. And guess what? That's the gift that keeps on giving. That's something you need to tell your children or your nieces or nephews. That's something that not only that didn't begin with them. It's traveling from, my goodness, we don't know how long these sayings have been in our family. Just like recipes, we don't know how long they've been in our family. When I make chai, it does something to your soul. The recipes that our mothers and grandmothers and great-grandmothers and so forth and so on left us, they do something to your body. They open you up. They heal you in ways that you can't possibly imagine. So if you got a book with some recipes in it that you haven't revisited, because a lot of us don't cook anymore today. I can't say us because I cook. But if you haven't tried cooking from a recipe, that's why they left it. I don't use measurements. I cook from just what I feel like needs to go in there. And pretty soon you will be able to do that too and just tap into stuff. You don't have to go by measurements all the time, but they leave you something to go by as a starting place. What else wants to come out today? Besides the sun. Look at that, guys. That right there, that sun is everything. Literally. Oh, I know what I wanted to tell you all. So many of you, I don't know if you know who Sophia Stewart is. I think I started to touch on this on the last video, but I didn't really go into it. But she was the black woman who wrote The Third Eye, which Paramount Films and Warner Brothers took and turned into The Matrix. Many of you know The Third Eye as The Matrix today, but it was a script that Sophia Stewart had written, and I really need to get into contact with her. So if somebody knows somebody who can send her this video, I need to contact her about the downloads that I've been having. Now I understand how she wrote The Third Eye, because literally, I don't know if it's just black women or if it's all races, but what happens is when you get to a certain age, you start to receive these messages from spirit and these downloads. And it's not just the age, because many people can be older and never receive them, but just opening yourself up to receive wisdom and enlightenment from nature, from the air, from thoughts that travel, from the atmosphere that's holding a record of everything that's ever taken place on this earth. Allowing yourself to be open to receive that information is what allows it to come to you in your dreams and visions and downloads. And Miss Sophia Stewart, my goodness, like, what a world-class woman. She wrote down her visions, in which I've been writing mine down. But to have something as divine as The Matrix show up and be able to show that to us, I think it's just unfortunate that she's still battling her case. She only received, I think, $100 million out of it all, because she did win. She was able to prove in court that she had her work copywritten. And so because of that, because she knew what was gonna come, I mean, she is the oracle. We are the oracles, like, that have just been reborn back into today's society. I realized that shamans and oracles and witches and all of these different people who we hold to such high esteem with knowledge, and who inspire us, they keep coming back, just in different forms. You guys, I don't know if you believe in reincarnation, but if you don't, you need to start listening to some of these kids who are coming back to earth right now, and they're having memories of a past life. My son was one of them, and I'll tell you what his memory was after this. But I need to get in touch with Miss Sophia Stewart, because I have a creation theory. It's a theory that came to me from a download, which talks to me about how we were sent here, where we came from, how we're made. It is so foreign from anything I could make up on my own that's how I know it's divine spirit speaking through me. And if I could just get this on film. But first I need to finish writing it down, and I need her help to understand how to write it in a script, or if I need to do a book, or what I need to do, because I believe that it will help solve so many problems and answer so many questions that we have about who we are today, if I could get it out for people to see. With that being said, we are reincarnated. We are our ancestors. They live through us, besides just with sound. And that's something you need to understand about sound. Sound resonates in high and low frequencies, and it can turn into solid things. So sound never really leaves us, and the sounds that our ancestors say and put inside of us, they keep changing our DNA and replicating our DNA, and they keep us going. We resonate with the Schumann Residence, which is just a vibration, a frequency that the earth has, that we tune into. And when we tune into it, we can stay well, we can stay healthy. It's only called the Schumann Residence because Schumann was like one of the first people to document discovering or understanding what it is that the earth had a sound. But the Om sound, you know, monks and or Buddhist monks, and you don't have to be a certain type of person to tune into that sound. But yes, giving it a name, there's a resonance above the earth that vibrates on the same brain frequency as the alpha wave in our brain, and it's changing it's changing. The sun is changing. The light from the sun is changing. And because it's changing, it is causing our DNA to have different effects. It's waking up parts of the DNA that were dormant before. It's allowing us to see things in our minds that we couldn't see before. And again, it's definitely some things streaming from the fourth dimensional plane into this dimension that we're beginning to become aware of. So when my son was 2 years old, I had picked him up from daycare, and he was in the back seat. We were on our way home, and all of a sudden he just started crying. He was just boo-hooing, and I didn't know what was wrong. So I was like, "What's wrong, baby?" And he was like, "I miss my mommy." And I was like in shock because I didn't understand what he was trying to tell me. Like, what do you mean? I'm right here, baby. What do you mean? Mommy's here now. I picked you up from daycare. We can go home and play. He was like, "No, I miss my other mommy." And at this time, I'm like, I better start recording this. And I guess that's why he came to me, because I wasn't scared. I just knew that it was something that I was about to receive right now that was unlike anything else. So I started recording it on a recorder that I wish I could find out how to fix, because it doesn't work anymore. But if I could just go back and play that message for you guys, it would be so chilling. So I said, "Well, what do you mean you miss your mommy? Where is your mommy?" He was like, "I don't know. There was a loud boom and I don't know what happened to my mommy." And I was like, is this kid telling me that he died and he thinks it was his mom, or and then he showed up to me? But, or I don't know what was going on. Typically they start losing their memories around 5 or 6 when they start becoming indoctrinated into this new world and new society. And but I said, "Well, what was her name?" He said, "Isabella." I was like, oh my God, he remembers her name. Like, this is not something he's able to make up. So I just kept asking him questions to try to bring out more information about his mom. And in this past life that he left, he said he had 2 brothers and a sister, and he was telling me their names, and he was just talking about it like it was just yesterday. I started asking him what happened to them, and he said there was a loud boom. Keep in mind, this is a 2-year-old. At 2, my son was talking fluently. He was speaking really well, and I could understand clearly everything that he was telling me. He said there was this loud boom, and then he was like, and then it went fast. I mean, fast. He just kept saying, it went really fast. I mean, that car was fast. And I was like, is he talking about coming through the birth canal? Like, what's going on? I'm trying to piece shit together. And what I realized is that he was having a past life memory. And he kept having memories pop up all the way until he turned 5 and 6 and started going to school. And what happens when you go to school, they put stuff in you. They put shit in you, and it forces everything that's already there that you came in with out. Educare is supposed to bring who you are out, but the education system we have here puts shit in us and tells us who we are instead of allowing us to learn who we are naturally. So I had to learn how to nurture that person and not make him feel like an alien, not make him feel crazy, and without losing it myself. But at that moment, 13 years ago, I learned a valuable lesson, that things are not what they seem, and that whatever we were taught about who we are is either a lie or just not the whole truth. You're discouraged from asking questions in church about the stars and about nature, because they can't explain it without telling you the whole truth. And the whole truth is that God is inside of us, not outside of us. the very thing that's keeping you animated and moving and breathing and walking and talking and using your voice and vocal cords, that is God. That is generation operation, and all of it is going to dissolve at some point. That is the life energy, that source, and it's working through you, and you have it in you. The voice that you hear, that you need to listen to, is your highest God, and there should be no other God before you. That's why God is jealous, because you should not have a master above you. You should not be worshiping anything outside of you, no matter what they do somewhere else. Remember, we were taught not to worship any idols. Everything outside of you is an idol. Look at American Idol. The very act of worshiping stars and actors and celebrities is against everything we should be doing. They create characters for you to become like, so that you can become predictable and you can become controlled. Once you're predictable, they can control you, because they know exactly what you're going to crave, what you're going to want, because you've become a character that they created. Be authentic, be original, be who you are, be the person you were born to be. Let all these things that you've been taught go and just start over. Rebuild yourself into who you want to be. This is what's meant to come out, guys. This is what's wanting to come out to you today. This is what grounding does. It allows you to reconnect to that voice inside of you, that God that doesn't want anybody else controlling you and telling you what to do. You're your own master. And if you listen to somebody else's voice of authority and make it your authority, then you're allowing that to override that God voice inside of you that's directing you and that's teaching you what to do. And you pay for it. Because every time you don't listen to that voice inside, you know that you end up paying harshly for it. The consequences can be small or big, but there will be consequences nonetheless of not listening to that voice inside of you. There we go. That's that golden skin we love to see. That's the sun right there shining in on this melanin, making it pop. Okay, I'm gonna stop feeling myself right now. It's the camera. Getting back down to earth. Just wanted to kind of just talk to you today about allowing the God inside of you to speak freely and not be intimidated by somebody else's God. I mean, literally, we all came in this world by ourselves, and we're supposed to find out what it is that feeds our soul. That's why we came here. But back to this creation story, y'all. I need to get it out. You guys would love this story, because I think it would definitely put some things into perspective. And I think it's actually a continuation of the third eye, aka the Matrix. I really think that I need to get this out there. What would I call it? Right now, it's just a creation story, and it is written down, but there's so many other intricate details I need to add to it. Nonetheless, I don't want to draw this video out and make it, oh, look at that tree behind me. Isn't that a beautiful image? It almost looks like a picture. Do some grounding. I'm going to give you a link so that you can learn more about what grounding is. It is an ancient healing art about reconnecting with the earth and the energy in the earth, and how we can connect with it on a deeper level than we realize. It's a humbling experience to lay down on the ground and put your head to the earth. It's like remembering that you need to give thanks to the things that came before you and the things that will be here long after you, because they're paving a way for all of us. When you put your knees and your ground and your head to the earth, it's a form of showing gratitude and appreciation. And when you show gratitude and appreciation, it paves the way and opens up a portal for more things to feel grateful about and appreciative about. So make sure you take time to get down low, because we are seeing things from a perspective of walking upright all the time. Well, you know, sometimes you need to change the angle, change the perspective, change the view. Snakes have a completely different angle than we do. So do birds. And that's why our ancestors and, you know, Egyptians wore these, you know, snakes and birds on, what are they called? Uraeus? Yeah, they wore them because they appreciated the perspective that came from an eagle or a hawk being able to see the world from a different, much higher perspective and seeing it as a whole, and then also having the ability to not just see it as a whole, but also use their eyesight to focus in on whatever they needed to do or see. And we all have that ability. We can hear things from another room, but we can also hear things from the room we're in. You have to channel and tune into your ability to, you have to nurture your senses. Your senses are senses for a reason. That's because you can sense things, not just physical things, but you can sense things that are not there. You can sense things in the air, things that have not come yet. You can hear a siren noise from miles away and you can hear it up close. That is the ability to hear from different, what do you call it? I guess ranges of frequency. And you can also hear things that nobody else can hear, because at the end of the day, see, I just heard that voice to finish that sentence in my head and you couldn't. That's your ability to sense and hear things that nobody else can see or hear. At the end of the day, the things that you say to yourself are going to be the most important. There's a warrior inside of you that's always listening to what you're saying. Speak kind, warm, gentle, encouraging thoughts to that warrior, because that warrior is going to be able and there to protect you when nobody else is. So build that warrior up. But the ability to see in multiple perspectives is where we're eventually trying to be, guys. Like, our ancestors knew that being able to see like a hawk or an eagle and also like a snake is advantageous in many ways. It just depends on the situation. So lay down on the ground and get a new perspective, get a new understanding for and a new meaning for what this earth is giving back to us, what it's here to teach us and what we can learn from it. So yeah, do some grounding. And remember that, like, when we get on the ground and we kneel like this, when we kneel and we put our hands together, we're not just, this isn't just praying. And I'm going to see if I can angle this so that you guys can see. I'm going to have to rig some stuff here. Okay. Here we go. Bear with me. So this motion here, this is not just, oh, this is praying. This means something. Didn't I tell you everything means something? This is forming a closed circuit. When you ground, you're forming a closed circuit when you put your hands together or your fingers together like this. That means the energy that's coming up from the ground through your legs is circulating up around your body, and it's staying within your body. This is how you connect with earth and source, and this allows you to move energy in ways that you can't when you're always giving your energy out. Many of us give all of our energy away. We give our power away. Taking responsibility for your actions is being powerful. When you're blaming someone else, this needed to come out for somebody to hear today because it's loud. If you're in a relationship right now and you're blaming your partner for something that they do wrong, remember that we're projecting who we are onto other people many times, more so than not, and that person is there to show us who we are. So first of all, say thank you to someone who makes you angry, because they're showing you something in yourself that either you can't tolerate, you can't see, or you're in denial about. And if something goes wrong in a relationship, don't put it all on the other person. Look at the fact that you're there. That person is only able to have that specific relationship with you. So you're mirroring each other. We're like sacred mirrors to each other. That's what water does. Water shows you a reflection of who and what you are when you look in water. And water is all around us. It's inside of us. It's around us. You guys, water's purpose here is way beyond giving us nourishment. It's way, physical nourishment from thirst or being thirsty. It's way beyond keeping us hydrated. It's way beyond the physical aspect. That's just the 3D dimension of water. Water travels in every single dimension there is. And in 4D, it shows up completely different. But here, the water is able to show you different levels of itself. It's able to tap in. It's able to show you reflection of who you are. Every time you look at somebody outside of you, you're looking at you. You're looking at you. That's water. That's the beauty of it. It's able to grow seeds. So put labels on your water of everything that you want to grow. Put labels on your water of everything you want to manifest. Because this is how we manifest things, through sound. We have the ability to create inside of us. And remember, I was telling you about that Vesica Pisces. It's, people pronounce it Vesica Pisces, but it's basically the shape of our eyes, the shape of our lips, the shape of our vaginas, the shape of our vocal cords. It's the shape shaped in the flower of life. It's the shape that the sun and the moon make when they are on the verge of eclipsing each other. This is the sacred womb shape of everything being able to come out of it, and it forms a black hole. So everything that has the shape of our lips and our eyes, it has a black hole associated with it. Speak into that hole everything that you want to manifest, and I promise you, it will come into fruition. So this video is running a little long. It's almost at 30 minutes. I know that I lose many of you at about 2 minutes because your attention span is so short, or it's just not the time for you to hear the information that I'm sharing, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you made it to the end of this video, then you're probably on the verge of having a breakthrough if you haven't already. And everything that I say is going to be touching different energy spots in your body. It's going to be opening up some closed off and blocked energy levels that will allow you to see things you could never see before. That's why I'm here, guys and ladies and queens and kings and pharaohs and royal ones. That's why I'm here, and I've found my purpose, and I couldn't be happier. But part of it is servitude, and I appreciate being here, being able to talk with you and serve you, and learning how to get better on this freaking camera, because it's been a long time coming. But you've worked with me, you're growing with me, and I appreciate each and every one of you. So until next time, beloveds, peace.